Have you ever wondered how the tender green stalks of asparagus make their way from massive farms to your dinner plate, fresh and full of flavor? Today, we're taking you inside the supergiant asparagus harvest, a process so massive, so efficient, and so fascinating that it helps feed over 200 million Americans every single year. But before we dive into the incredible story of how asparagus is grown, harvested, processed, and distributed at scale, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you never miss another behind-the-scenes journey into how the world's most essential foods are made. Asparagus is one of the world's oldest cultivated vegetables, with records showing it was grown in ancient Egypt over 5,000 years ago. The Romans loved it, the Greeks prized it, and today, Americans consume over 70,000 tons of asparagus every year, much of it grown on vast, super farms in California, Washington, and Michigan. What makes asparagus so unique is its perennial nature. Unlike most vegetables that need to be replanted each year, asparagus crowns, the underground root system, can produce for up to 20 years once established. That means farmers can rely on consistent yields, season after season. This is what sets the stage for giant-scale harvesting operations, where entire fields, stretching across thousands of acres, are dedicated solely to growing this green spear that ends up in everything from roasted sides to gourmet Mongolian beef dishes. Before asparagus can be harvested at scale, farms must go through a meticulous preparation process. The soil is carefully cultivated with sand, loam, and rich organic material because asparagus thrives in well-drained soils. Fields are laser-leveled to ensure water flows evenly, preventing root rot. Farmers invest in irrigation systems that deliver just the right amount of water. Unlike other crops that require heavy rainfall, asparagus prefers deep, occasional watering. On a super farm, this means pumping millions of gallons of water per season through underground drip lines. Every spring, fertilizers enriched with nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus are applied to stimulate spear growth. And when the soil is ready, workers plant thousands of asparagus crowns, burying them beneath mounded rows of soil. The result? Fields that look like long ridges, each one hiding powerful crowns beneath, waiting to push up green shoots when the temperature rises. Now comes the most exciting part, the harvest. And this is where things get truly mind-blowing. Asparagus grows incredibly fast, up to 7 inches in a single day when the weather is warm. This means farmers must check their fields every 24 hours, otherwise the spears grow too tall and tough, losing their sweet tenderness. On giant farms, teams of workers and machines move through the fields daily, cutting spears that are just 7 to 9 inches tall. Harvesting is often done with specialized knives, slicing the stalk cleanly just below the soil surface. To give you a sense of scale, a single acre can produce 4,000 pounds of asparagus per season. A 1,000-acre super farm? That's over 4 million pounds in one harvest cycle. Across the US, this adds up to hundreds of millions of pounds annually, enough to serve fresh asparagus dishes to more than 200 million Americans each year. Workers move swiftly, bending over rows for hours, while mechanized harvesters in some regions reduce labor needs, cutting thousands of spears per minute. The challenge is speed. Asparagus must be chilled within 4 hours of being cut to preserve freshness. So, trucks loaded with just harvested asparagus rush straight from the fields to massive cooling facilities. Inside the plant, the asparagus undergoes a meticulous transformation. First, spears are washed in giant tanks, removing soil, sand, and field debris. Next, they move along conveyor belts where they're graded by size: small, medium, large, and extra large. Consumers often prefer medium to large, while restaurants and gourmet chefs may order extra thick stalks. But the critical step is hydrocooling. Because asparagus continues to respire after harvest, it generates heat. If not cooled, it spoils quickly. So farms use ice-cold water showers or vacuum cooling systems that drop the asparagus temperature to 34 degrees Celsius almost instantly. From here, the spears are trimmed, bundled, and packaged into crates ready for distribution. Once grated and cooled, asparagus is packed into bundles of 12 to 16 stalks, often tied with elastic bands or placed in trays covered with breathable plastic film. Packaging must be efficient, yet protective. Millions of crates are filled each season, each carrying about 28 pounds of asparagus. Some asparagus is shipped fresh to grocery stores within 24 hours of harvest, while others are sent for frozen packaging or canning, extending shelf life and reaching international markets. Here's where the scale really hits home. With millions of tons produced annually, asparagus is a staple vegetable across America. On average, each American eats about 1.2 pounds per year, but that adds up to an astonishing 400 million pounds nationwide. From classic dishes like roasted asparagus with garlic and olive oil, to being used in Asian stir-fries, omelets, soups, and even grilled alongside steaks, asparagus is one of the most versatile vegetables on the planet. And it all starts on those massive farms, where armies of workers and advanced machinery combine to harvest millions of tons at lightning speed. Technology continues to transform asparagus farming. Robots equipped with AI and cameras are being developed to identify the perfect spear height and cut it automatically. This could dramatically reduce labor demands, which currently account for over 50% of production costs. Sustainability is also a big focus. Farmers are experimenting with solar-powered irrigation pumps, compost-based fertilizers, and even biochar soil amendments to improve long-term soil health. With climate change altering growing conditions, asparagus farming is adapting with new resistant varieties that can tolerate hotter summers and unpredictable rainfall. If you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes journey into the world of asparagus, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss another fascinating look at how the world's most important foods are grown, harvested, and brought to your table. Each year, millions of tons of walnuts are harvested, processed, and distributed around the globe, destined for your snack bowl, baked goods, or cold-pressed oil. From sprawling orchards to high-tech factories, the journey of a walnut is anything but simple. This is the incredible story of how walnuts go from tree to table, and how this humble nut becomes both a culinary staple and a nutritional powerhouse. Before we dive into the fascinating journey of walnut and processing, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more behind-the-scenes stories about how everyday foods are made. Hit the like button if you love learning about where your food comes from, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Walnut farming starts in vast orchards that stretch across thousands of acres. The world's top producers include the United States, particularly California's Central Valley, as well as China, Iran, and Chile. Each walnut tree can grow over 60 feet tall and live for more than 50 years. But it takes about 5 to 7 years before a young tree begins producing a meaningful harvest. In early spring, these trees bloom with delicate flowers. Once pollinated, the flowers develop into small green husks, the protective casing that surrounds each walnut shell. Throughout the summer, the nuts grow in size, shielded by their thick green husk. Farmers monitor the trees carefully, controlling water, nutrients, and pests to ensure a healthy crop. By early autumn, the husk begins to split and dry out, revealing the hard shell inside. This is the farmer's signal. Harvest time is near. Walnut harvesting is a combination of brute force and precision. Specialized machines called tree shakers grip the trunk and shake it vigorously, causing ripe walnuts to rain down onto the orchard floor. But speed matters. Nuts left too long on the ground can mold or rot. So, in quick succession, sweepers come through the rows to gather the walnuts into windrows, or neat lines. Next, pickup machines collect the nuts and deposit them into large hoppers. Each acre can yield up to 2,000 pounds of walnuts, and large farms may process several tons per hour during peak season. The freshly harvested nuts are rushed to nearby hulling and drying facilities within hours to prevent spoilage. At the processing facility, the first step is hulling, removing the green outer husk from the shell. Machines use spinning rollers and jets of water to scrub the husk off each walnut, revealing the hard brown shell inside. Once hulled, the walnuts are still too moist for storage. That's where drying comes in. Drying tunnels blow warm, dry air through the walnuts for up to 24 hours, bringing their moisture content down to below 8%. This critical step prevents mold, bacteria, and rancidity. Once dried, the nuts are sorted and stored in large silos or bins until they're ready for cracking or sale. Next, the walnuts are transported to specialized shelling plants. First, machines separate the walnuts by size using vibrating screens and rollers. Then comes cracking. Industrial shellers apply just the right amount of pressure to break the shell without crushing the kernel inside. After cracking, the nuts pass through air separators, which remove lighter shell fragments from the heavier edible pieces. Finally, human workers or optical sorting machines inspect the kernels, removing any defective or damaged pieces. The clean, golden halves are graded based on size and color. From premium light halves to small broken pieces, these kernels are now ready for packaging or further processing into oil. For walnuts sold as snacks or baking ingredients, freshness is key. The kernels are gently cleaned again and may be lightly roasted or left raw. Then they're vacuum-packed or sealed in nitrogen-flushed bags to extend shelf life. Some are chopped, seasoned, or mixed into trail mixes. Others go straight into bulk bins for commercial bakeries or food manufacturers. Every bag is labeled with grade, origin, and expiration date, all traceable back to the orchard. From farm to supermarket, freshness is preserved every step of the way. Walnuts aren't just for snacking, they're also a rich source of oil. At a walnut oil facility, premium-grade kernels are cleaned and slowly fed into a cold press. Unlike hot press methods, cold pressing uses mechanical pressure without heat or chemicals, preserving the oil's delicate flavor and nutritional content. As the press slowly grinds the nuts, golden oil flows out and is filtered through fine meshes to remove any solids. The remaining walnut cake, a protein-rich byproduct, is collected and sold for animal feed or flour production. The freshly pressed oil is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and vitamin E. It's bottled immediately in dark glass containers to protect it from light and stored in cool conditions to prevent oxidation. This luxurious oil is favored by gourmet chefs and health-conscious consumers alike. Throughout the walnut processing chain, quality control is paramount. Samples from every batch are tested for mold, aflatoxins, and pesticide residues in certified laboratories. Moisture content, kernel integrity, and color grading are constantly monitored. Automated sorting systems use high-speed cameras and lasers to detect and reject even the smallest imperfections. Walnut oil also undergoes chemical and sensory analysis to ensure flavor, clarity, and purity. Each step is documented and traceable, a requirement for international export. Thanks to these strict controls, millions of consumers can enjoy safe, high-quality walnuts year-round. Once packaged, the walnuts and walnut oil are ready for global markets. Shipping containers are climate-controlled to protect the product from heat and humidity. The U.S. exports over half of its walnut production annually, reaching over 60 countries. China, Germany, Turkey, and Japan are some of the biggest importers. Fresh walnuts are sold in grocery stores, while oil is distributed to specialty retailers, online shops, and restaurants. From farm stands to five-star kitchens, the humble walnut travels far. Modern walnut farming is increasingly sustainable. Orchards use drip irrigation, solar-powered machinery, and cover crops to reduce water use and increase biodiversity. Even the shells and hulls are recycled, used as biomass fuel, livestock bedding, or natural dyes. Researchers are exploring ways to improve disease resistance and reduce the time it takes new trees to bear fruit. And as demand for plant-based foods grows, walnuts are gaining popularity in vegan cheeses, meat substitutes, and superfood snacks. It's not just a nut, it's a crop of the future. If you enjoyed discovering how walnuts are harvested, processed, and turned into gourmet oil, make sure to subscribe for more in-depth looks at the incredible journeys behind your favorite foods. We post new episodes every week, from the farms to the factories and everything in between. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Crisp, cool, and refreshing. Cucumbers are one of the most consumed vegetables in the world. From pickles to salads, sushi to skincare, their versatility is unmatched. But have you ever wondered what it takes to grow, harvest, and process the millions of tons of cucumbers that reach your grocery store every year? In this video, we'll take you behind the scenes of incredible cucumber farming, where high-tech agriculture meets age-old practices. From seed to supermarket shelf, from open fields to modern sorting lines, every step is a blend of precision, efficiency, and care. Let's discover how millions of cucumbers are planted, nurtured, hand-picked, washed, sorted, and packed, ready to travel across continents and onto your plate.